Okay guys, in this video you're going to learn how to draw a one-point perspective picture. The first thing we're going to do is separate our image, okay, with a horizontal line which is going to be our horizon line. The horizon line is where the land looks like it meets the sky, okay, and in the center of that line you are going to put what we call a vanishing point. Okay, the vanishing point is where all the lines lead back to. Okay, so you just need to follow my directions one by one and it should be quite straightforward. Using a ruler, draw a triangle. Make sure that the ruler leads back to the vanishing point. Here I have drawn two lines within inside the triangle leading back to the vanishing point. These will represent the railway. And here you can see that I'm drawing horizontal lines getting larger and more spaced out apart as they get towards the bottom of the paper. Once you're happy with your placement of lines, you can actually fill in the inside of the railway track with some shading. To the left side of your railway track, do two more lines leading back to the vanishing point. This will resemble the verge and a pathway in your picture. Next, take your ruler and draw two vertical lines that lead down to one of the lines that you've drawn for your pathway. This is where you can start to draw a house, making sure that you're using the correct horizontal and vertical lines. Make sure that the top of the roof is above the horizon line. This will ensure that things are placed correctly within your picture for perspective. Make sure as well when you draw the door and the window that the top and the bottom of the door and the window base are leading right back to that vanishing point. If you are uncertain, stop and rewind the video as many times as you like to see what action I'm doing in the video to help you. If you want to add a detail of a small stream, you can just by adding a wavy line that gets wider and more spaced out apart as it gets closer to you. Next, we're going to map out where our trees are going to be. You can see here I'm adding a line above and below the horizon line, and then I'm adding a bit of a wiggly line in the background to resemble the horizon. Maybe there's a few hills in the background, and then I'll use my finger just to smudge and blend the pencil into the paper to create a nice effect. Once I've finished colouring in the background and my horizon line, I'm going to bring in some more cypress trees within that space that we drew earlier. You will notice that the trees in the background must be smaller than the trees in the foreground. So to ensure that happens, I'm going to make sure the bottom of my tree and the top of my tree hit those two lines that we drew earlier. As long as your trees get larger and more spaced apart, the closer they come to the eye, that is how to do it correctly in a one-point perspective. Now we've darkened the detail using a black colouring pencil. What you can do between the two pillars here is that you can add a light pressure of pencil. Now with your light pressure of pencil, after you've done that, you can blend and smudge using your finger to get a really nice smooth effect, so it appears that there is depth between the wooden rail tracks here. And you can just continue doing that throughout your picture. I'm using the lightest of pressure. And if you want it even darker, then you can go back over it and just smudge that pencil into your paper. Now you can see in this image the sun appears to be coming from this direction. The reason we know that is because most of the shadow is on this side of the trees. That means the light source is coming from this way. Similarly with the house here, the front side, this side of the house is lighter, and then as you go around to this plane, you've got a darker wall and then a little bit of shadow behind the house as the sun is casting itself from this way. So I'm quite happy with that. If you want to leave your picture as a black and white picture, please do. But there's nothing stopping you from colouring it. If you would like to add colour, I would recommend just simple coloured pencils will do the job very nicely.